Tonight on News 5 Live, 10 Brazilian adults and 5 minors are busted for entering Belize illegally. The Attorney General's office to begin negotiations with the family of Derek O for compensation. PM Briceño encourages Association of Caribbean States to remain viable amidst global challenges. And tonight on The Bright Side, a special Mother's Day feature. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
DigiWallet, in partnership with UNICEF, is making financial inclusion a reality. As a selected financial technology provider, DigiWallet leveraged its robust digital platform to disperse a total of $720,000 to 900 vulnerable migrant children and their families. This program is a part of the Cash Plus pilot project, implemented in collaboration with the government of Belize and the Belize Red Cross. DigiWallet and UNICEF's partnership supports the government of Belize's timely response to social and economic shocks using advanced and secure technology.
¿Qué más va a llevar ahorita?
Me quedan 97.80 todavía.
Guarde.
DigiWallet's platform ensured that recipients received their funds instantly at no cost. Beneficiaries were then able to purchase essential goods, pay for their utilities, and do much more with DigiWallet. This innovative approach of digital payment is an important milestone in advancing the social protection system in the country, allowing them to reach the most vulnerable children. We remain committed to working in partnership with key stakeholders to continue financially empowering the Belizean society by offering an accessible, safe, and useful digital platform. DigiWallet and UNICEF, bringing equal access to financial services with the support of the government of the United States of America through the State Department, Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration.
It's good to keep the environment clean. BSWAMA, step up the pace. They're going places to manage your ways. So make we stand and make well sure. No garbage left on the seashore. The whole of Belize we stay clean, cause we know say worth much more. We have pretty environment. So when you see the garbage on the ground, go off me and just bag it on.
Cleanliness has always been second nature to us, so let's work together to keep our surroundings beautiful and healthy.
No garbage in it.
This Mother's Day, celebrate that special woman who holds your family together. Start her day off right, complete with love and smiles. But why stop there? At Brothers Habet, we believe in celebrating moms all month long. We're offering big discounts all throughout May, like 15% off all mowing kitchen and bathroom faucets and accessories, 15% off all Penta paints, and much more. And for the ultimate Mother's Day gift, purchase any Penta paint during May and get a chance to win big. Every week, we're giving away $100 to a lucky mom, and at the end of the month, one lucky mom will receive a grand prize of $1,000. Give mom the gift she truly deserves from Brothers Habet. Happy Mother's Day to all the super moms out there, and we hope to see you in store soon.
Your beloved Defenders invites you to this must-see game. Yes, Old Capital Sports and Motherhood Resorts presents a battle so big you can't afford to miss this as your high-flying, sharp-shooting, high-octane Belize City Defender do battle with the San Pedro Tiger Sharks. It happens this Friday, May 12th inside the Belize Civic Center. Come see Mr. MVP Nigel Jones lead his band of brothers into battle as they look to secure the number 2 position in this BBL season. It's our last home game for the 2023 regular season. So look out for extreme giveaways as we thank our Defender Nations for standing behind us. Fans, come out and get a chance at the 1-2-3 Vegetable Oil Challenge as one fan get a chance at winning $3,000 in cold hard cash. Official after party follows inside Shisha 8 Lounge. Tip-off is set for 9 p.m. this Friday, May 12th, Belize Civic Center. Your Belize City Defenders versus San Pedro Tiger Sharks. Tickets go on sale Friday morning at 10 a.m. Sponsors are Muy Uno Resorts, 1-2-3 Vegetable Oil, Honorable Anthony Mahler, Channel 5, Print Inc., The Tavern, Belize City Council, Body 2000, Premier Charters and Tours, Nocturnal, Madisco, Shisha 8 Lounge, Full Memory Photography, Smiling Meats, and Mars Rentals.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway, from Roaring Creek to Esperanza, has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Here's your chance. The stage is waiting. We're looking for talented Belizean singers for another season of KTV The Remix. KTV auditions will take place on Saturday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 11th, starting at 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Channel 5 on Coney Drive in Belize City. We're also now accepting online submissions. 2-minute videos can be emailed to producer at channel5belize.com or DM KTV Remix on Facebook. Deadline, Sunday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Come be a part of the biggest singing competition of the year. KTV The Remix, only on Channel 5.
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video, or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, May 12th. I am Annalyn Apolonio. Tens of thousands of migrants have gathered at the U.S.-Mexico border seeking asylum, less than 24 hours after the United States ended an immigration policy that prohibited the entry of persons who potentially pose a health risk. Title 42 expulsions, as they are known, were removals by the U.S. government of persons who had recently been in a country where a communicable disease was present. In 2020, the Trump administration used a provision, Title 42 of the United States Code, to block land entry for almost 3 million migrants during the COVID-19 pandemic. With the expiration of Title 42, an increase in migrants was anticipated. In Belize City earlier today, 10 Brazilian nationals believed to have been heading north were arraigned on immigration offenses following the discovery of a possible human smuggling ring. Along with the adults were 5 minors who reportedly entered the country by crossing the Mopan River in Benque Viejo. Shortly before midday, the group appeared unrepresented before Senior Magistrate Aretha Ford, where they were each read a single charge of illegal entry. They all pleaded guilty to the charge brought against them. Instead of imposing a fine, the Immigration Department took into consideration the fact that the adults had been separated from the 5 children who were placed in the custody of the Department of Human Services. As such, the department sought and was granted their removal from the country at the earliest time. The mandatory minimum fine for such an offense is $1,000 or, in default, 6 months in prison. While the Immigration Department was successful in applying for the removal of the Brazilian nationals, tonight their Belizean handlers are facing criminal charges for facilitating their illegal entry into the country. 33-year-old Kirk Hauer, a taxi driver of San Martin area, Belmopan, and his common-law wife, Gracielita Mendez, were charged separately for the offense of aiding and facilitating the commission of the immigration offense. It is believed that Hauer drove the vehicle in which the group of Brazilians was busted. In court, Hauer and Mendez were represented by attorney John Nemhard, who submitted that they are law-abiding citizens who erred in judgment. They were each fined $1,000 and are to return to court on August 31st. A third suspect is being sought in connection with this incident. It is believed that that individual has absconded. 27-year-old Howard Reyes, a car dealer of Boral Boom, was arraigned for attempted murder, use of deadly means of harm, aggravated assault with a firearm, and wounding following a shooting incident in St. Paul's Bank on Tuesday. This morning, Reyes appeared before Senior Magistrate Tricia Pitts in the company of his attorney, where he was arraigned on 4 counts stemming from the altercation. On Tuesday night, police responded to St. Paul's Bank following a report of a shooting. They then visited the KHMH, where they saw 24-year-old James Perry, a bus conductor, suffering from a gunshot wound to the hip. It is believed that Perry was injured while walking home following a misunderstanding with several persons in St. Paul's Bank. Police were tipped off on the vehicle that was driven by Reyes, and that's how the arrest was made. Inside the Chevy Equinox, police discovered a 9mm expended shell. There's much more news after the break. Stay with us.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "Whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, that by these you might be partakers of the divine nature." Dr. Donald Gray Bornhouse tells a story of the wife of a French pastor who had made a promise box. She wrote out in French more than 200 promises and put them in the box. Through the years, this box was used by the family to teach them to trust in the Lord. Later, during the war, the only food they had was messes of potato peelings from a local restaurant. Her children became emaciated and they cried to her for food. In one of her more tragic moments, she turned to the promise box in desperation and prayed for a single promise to meet her needs. Being blinded by her tears, she reached out for the promise box and accidentally knocked it over. The promises showered down all around her, and she suddenly realized in that moment of desperation that all the promises of God were for her and only needed to be claimed by faith. If you're going through a trial right now, turn to God and the Bible, God's promise box, and you will find peace and hope. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Adopting a second child was our best decision ever. Now our daughter Alexis has a little brother to play with.
Know that we have our son, our family is complete.
Contact the Department of Human Services and find out how you can become a foster or adoptive parent and be that heart of gold.
Nestled away in the quaint Belize River Valley, Black Orchid's Panda River Restaurant offers a variety of great dining areas and experiences with an excellent variety of local and international cuisine, with healthy meal options for vegans and those with health concerns. Your delectable dining can be topped off with our excellent desserts, natural fruit juices, and exquisite wine and drink options. All prepared by our certified chef and award-winning mixologist. Come to Panda River Restaurant and River Rum Bar to relax in the pool or use our excellent conference facilities combined with great dining.
A diamond in the jungle.
Do you know how to choose the best engine oil for your car? We believe the best engine oil should provide optimal performance and ultimate protection for longer. For Quartz engine oil, our engineers have formulated age resistance technology, also known as ART. It's a breakthrough innovation. The interaction between oil molecules is increased, creating a super-resistant molecular structure. So whatever the conditions, it helps to prevent the lubricant protective film from breaking. Any engine is exposed to harsh conditions: extreme temperature and pressure, friction, sludge accumulation. The molecular structure of quartz with ART stays strong to perfectly lubricate and protect engine parts in all conditions. And the results are outstanding. Protection against sludge buildup improved by 18%. Protection against mechanical wear improved by 74%. Thanks to Quartz with ART, save on maintenance and preserve your engine's power. So next time you wonder which engine oil to use, choose performance and protection that lasts longer. Quartz with age resistance technology. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Here's your chance. The stage is waiting. We're looking for talented Belizean singers for another season of KTV The Remix. KTV auditions will take place on Saturday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 11th, starting at 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Channel 5 on Coney Drive in Belize City. We're also now accepting online submissions. 2-minute videos can be emailed to producer at channel5belize.com or DM KTV Remix on Facebook. Deadline, Sunday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Come be a part of the biggest singing competition of the year. KTV The Remix, only on Channel 5.
The family of Derek O, the 20-year-old man who died while police detained him in a hot prisoner van, says efforts to get the government to meet with their attorney have fallen on deaf ears and they have grown tired. Today, Chanelli O, Derek's older sister, told News 5 via phone that their attorney, Senior Counsel Dean Barrow, has attempted repeatedly to get an audience with the Attorney General's office to arrive at a settlement on compensation for O's death. So far, they have not received any favorable response. News 5's Marian Ali has the story.
Chanelli O, the older sister to Derek O, says that her family has grown impatient with the government, specifically the Attorney General's ministry, after their attorney, Senior Counsel Dean Barrow's repeated attempts to discuss a settlement regarding her brother's death. 20-year-old Derek O died in a prisoner van after he was detained at the San Joaquin Fair in August of 2022, allegedly for indecently touching a woman. Officers transported him to the Corozal police station in that vehicle, but forgot to remove him. He later perished inside the van. Today, his sister told News 5 via phone that they've grown weary of waiting for answers.
We were waiting for the response, but our news came to interview my mom because they say they already were trying to get with one answer, like with the liar, but we are not sure of it. We are asking, first of all, for a compensation because as up to now, nobody has ever helped us. Only family members, friends, and with that, we will try to, if justice can be done for my brother's death.
But a compensation is not all that the O family is seeking. They also want the criminal case to proceed against the police officers who are culpable for the death of Derek O.
What will happen with all the police that were involved in my brother's death? Because up to now, we only don't know that they're not working. I don't know. I'm not really sure what happened with them.
4 police officers with ranks from corporal to inspector who were jointly charged with manslaughter are still before the courts on that charge. Meanwhile, after we spoke with Chanelli O, We reached out to the Attorney General, Magali Marin, who informed News 5 that her office had reached out to the Commissioner of Police for instructions on how to proceed with the matter, and that response took a while to come back. In quoting from a WhatsApp message from the AG, she informed, quote, "The details are that from the 22nd of November 2022, the litigation unit sent a legal memo to the Commissioner, and we only got a response yesterday. We then responded to Mr. Barrow yesterday, and he responded to us today," end quote. The next step, according to Marin, is that the parties involved will negotiate the settlement sum via exchange of letters. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Prime Minister John Briceño urged heads of governments attending the 9th summit of the Association of Caribbean States to remain relevant and viable amidst global challenges. He also called for a refocus on the organization's roots, which is the sustainable development of the Caribbean Sea. At the event in Antigua, Guatemala, PM Briceño said that the COVID-19 pandemic battered economies in terms of production losses and significant increase in debt burden, and that these challenges are made worse by conflict in Europe. But he said that we should not lose sight of the fact that even before these more recent global events, the structural challenges hampering development already existed. The PM said, quote, "In terms of economics, the consequences of the conflict in Eastern Europe have been felt around the world, with the rising cost of wheat, fertilizers, and oil, meaning that regardless of political views, the cost of living for our people has gone up, along with rising food insecurity. In consideration of these factors, national governments are hard-pressed to meet domestic demands, and if we are to be fully honest, even more so to meet multilateral demands with our limited resources." This has been amply aired in the extended and candid debate over the last 2 days on the perilous state of finances of the ACS Secretariat, unquote. The ACS has been in existence for almost 30 years. The delegations deliberated on themes such as strengthening and developing collective capacities of the Greater Caribbean, promoting the sustainable development of the Caribbean Sea, post-COVID-19 recovery, and revitalizing and strengthening the ACS. The summit concluded with the adoption of the Declaration of Antigua. The Prime Minister also held bilateral meetings with President of Guatemala, Dr. Alejandro Giammattei, as well as with leaders of the delegations of ACS, observer nations, who were present to discuss other matters of mutual interest. Earlier this week, Dean Flowers, the president of the Public Service Union, joined Minister of Public Service Henry Charles Usher on a tour of several government offices in Belmopan. This exercise is part of the union's annual presidential visits to various government ministries. The group visited the Ministry of Home Affairs and New Growth Industries, the Belize Police Department, the Treasury Department, the National Fire Service, the Audit Department, and the Payroll Unit. During the tour, Minister Usher and Flowers engaged public officers on various issues, including the proposed Pension Reform Act. Today, we spoke with Dean Flowers about the outcome of the discussion held with public officers on that topic. Here is what he told us.
Of course, that was, I think, the big ticketed item on the minister's responses to public officers. And what we presented to them, of course, is currently what is before us. And what is before us is the IMF proposal, which proposes to increase the retirement age to 65. Of course, the government has not formed a position on that. The minister also alluded to that it could be 60 as well. And of course, the contribution rate. Public officers, of course, are apprehensive towards contributing, and as some of them refer to it, it's just another tax on their salary, and it simply means less money in their pocket. And of course, their biggest concern is how would that contribution be offset as it relates to their salaries. Now, as of as I've stated before, and as I informed those public officers that we met with on Monday, there is no set formula as yet. All right, government has not established a position, and neither has the joint unions agreed on a position in terms of what we will be proposing to the government. But all in all, I have to say that it would appear from the feedback that we got that most public officers have come to the realization and understanding that the reform is coming and that they will have to support the reform. The specifics behind the reform in terms of who will be exempted, we have a general idea that we will be proposing. The government has their own ideas in terms of who should be exempted. We believe that certain individuals should be exempted from contributing altogether, but those will have to come, of course, with certain terms and conditions, I believe. The issue of the pay scale was touched. Clearly, if you're going to extend the retirement age, you cannot keep the current pay scale because the current pay scale only has 20 points, and it was designed primarily for a 35-year work life, as the minister explained. And so now if you want to extend that for an additional 10 years, then you either have to restructure that entire pay scale, which is something that we would like to propose.
Flowers and Minister Usher engaged public officers on the reinstatement of increments. According to Flowers, while legislation has been passed through the National Assembly, the Ministry of Public Service did not issue a circular authorizing finance officer to approve the payment of increments due. According to Flowers, Minister Usher committed to rectifying the omission.
As it relates to increments, we had some discussion around that, and as we explained to public officers, the reinstatement of increments effective April the 1st, the legislation has gone to the House, has passed, but I think that there was a misstep. Sorry, that might not be the best word. There was an omission by the Ministry of Public Service to put out a circular for finance officers to effect the payment of those increments. And so what we got from public officers is that the finance officers were saying, well, a few finance officers were saying that they had not received the instructions to effect the payment of those increments. But what is important is that the legislation has passed for them to be reinstated, and the minister committed to the issuing of a circular so that finance officers would then effect those increments for those individuals who have an increment date of April the 1st, and then of course on May 1st and subsequent months as we go along. We of course had to explain to them that those increments will correspond to the financial year 2022-2023, because of course there is this notion that increments were frozen in the month of May under the Barrow administration in 2020, and what we had to explain to them is that in 2020, when Barrow froze increments, that he took away those increments. He did not freeze those increments. And if they look at the circle, I believe it's 5 of 2020, that speaks of a foregone increment. So that's an increment that we will have to negotiate going forward with the joint unions. Also, the 2021-2022 increment, that is a frozen increment under this administration. And this administration has already committed that they are prepared to reinstate that increment in the upcoming fiscal year, provided that we could put together the criteria, an economic criteria based on the economic performance of the government finances for that increment to be reinstated in the upcoming fiscal year or any time before.
As we said, PSU's presidential tour also took them to the Ministry of Home Affairs and New Growth Industries, as well as the Belize Police Department. And according to Flowers, during the tour, they found out that the Commissioner of Police may be overstepping his authority in the execution of his administrative duties. Flowers says while on the tour, Minister Usher conceded that it is a matter that must be looked into. Here is how he explained it.
On the tour, what we found out, what was interesting is our visit to the Ministry of Home Affairs and New Growth Industries. and specifically within the police department, um, I think that what we uncovered there is that there's a mismatch between the commissioner of police and public officers and his oversight over public officers. I think that the ministry and the minister had to concede that that is something they have to look at. The commissioner is primarily tasked. Yes, he is a head of department. We cannot take that away from him. But his primary role and functions, of course, is to oversee the department, the police officers in that department, and to decide how those police officers are allocated across the country. But we're seeing some conflicts in how the civilian staff that supports that department are managed. We see whereby senior officers are assigned to oversee these civilian staff, and I don't know if it's because they may lack the managerial skills required to properly administrate the public officers in that department. We see where there's a lot of conflict in how the civilian staff are managed. And there are times when instructions, the department is a department of orders and instructions, but some of these instructions sometimes are not in line with the public service regulation. They're in line with how the police force or police department operates. And so it is very important that we look at that and we reassure the officers there that we will be looking at that to see how we can perhaps streamline or correct that mismatch, because in some cases it can become very abusive.
After the break, Red Cross wheelchair program changing lives. We'll tell you about that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Brian returned home exhausted after all the cleaning and mangrove planting work they had done on the beach. He was beginning to fall asleep in the hammock in front of his house when his father woke him up.
Brian, so will you come with me to the meeting with the fishermen?
Brian felt exhausted. His legs and arms ached. He could barely keep his eyes open. However, he felt that he should go with his dad.
Yes, Dad, I'm going with you.
They got on the boat and advanced about 5 minutes to reach the place where the fishermen's committee met. The meeting started on time, and when the topic of creating fish replenishment zones was raised, many fishermen began to murmur as if they did not agree.
Gentlemen, we must be aware. We cannot let our resources run out. Look, climate change is bothering us. Are you going to tell me that you have not seen how the reef is turning white or how the water sometimes feels very hot? We cannot stop climate change, but by taking these types of measures where we take care of and improve nature, we will have the opportunity to adapt in order to continue fishing and make a living from it.
There was silence in the place. Joe turned to see Brian, who was looking at him with pride.
Look at the young people of our community. They planted a lot of mangroves and cleaned kilometers of beach. If they can, why can't we?
The fishermen immediately began to murmur again. Someone suggested taking votes to decide about creating these fishing replenishment zones. Brian was nervous and in doubt as to what the results of the vote would be. But he was surprised to see how all the fishermen accepted the creation of these zones and also proposed to recover the mangrove forests that were on the riverbanks. Coming out of the meeting, Joe was proud of the outcome and knew that Brian was just as happy. In a few days, they had managed to get the community to understand different actions that would help the residents to adapt to climate change and have a better quality of life.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
The Belize Red Cross, in partnership with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, hosted a clinic this week. It is part of a wheelchair program where hundreds of persons with mobility issues are beneficiaries of a wheelchair, that is, and some level of support. The clinic concluded today, and News 5 was able to speak with the organizers as well as a beneficiary who shared how the donation will change his life. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Oftentimes, we take for granted the convenience of being able to walk without impediments. But for persons living with mobility issues, the ease of going to the store or even traveling is a gift. 65-year-old Robert Jurgensen is regaining his independence.
It's a problem with the wheelchair, but it was comfort enough for when they stop showing me around, like to get around, then I decided in my mind to get a wheel, bigger wheels, so I could care myself, because I don't like to annoy people. See, so that's the case. Sometimes they're willing to do things, and sometimes they doesn't. I don't like that. If I'm ready to move, I want to move. And that's my problem. I am not a guy that likes to sit. I'm a busy person.
So now with you getting this new chair, you could move around, you'll be independent, you could do it yourself.
Yeah, that's right. I'll be here, there, and everywhere. You know, without a problem.
That's essentially what the Belize Red Cross wheelchair program has been doing for years, changing lives. Physically impaired persons are assisted with a wheelchair that is assembled on site and adjusted to the perfect fit. Maneuvering the wheelchair down ramps and stairs is also a skill that volunteers are sharing with the community.
A week-long training for the volunteers behind me that are being technicians and assessors, and this is kind of their graduation. They have to do wheelchairs for the community. We're doing 20 yesterday and today, but we have this program ongoing where we'll have wheelchairs available in not only at the headquarters here at Belize City, but at some of our branches like Corozal, Punta Gorda, Belmopan, and San Ignacio. There is a demand we're not meeting, and there's a demand we know we can't meet because we got 350 chairs that we're very grateful for, but we know there's a high demand, and it's been a while since Corozal has been able to serve their community. This is the first time Punta Gorda is in this project, and San Ignacio, so we have new communities that we are able to serve, and the list is already growing, so we know we're probably going to be out of wheelchairs in a while.
It is made possible through partnership with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Representatives are in Belize building the capacity of the Red Cross volunteers while providing the tools needed for the beneficiaries.
This is the third time we've been in Belize distributing wheelchairs to people that need them down here in your country.
I understand 350 chairs are being donated.
Are being donated, yes, on this shipment, 350. My training is to teach the Belizean people how to assemble the chairs. And then we have the other two gentlemen that I'm working with. They are trained physical therapists, professionals, and they teach the people how to measure and fit the person to the correct wheelchair so it fits them perfectly. If they don't need a wheelchair, we also provide walkers, crutches, canes, other things they can use for mobility. But the main purpose is the people that are not mobile, they need to be able to get around to get to work or to get to the store, to go somewhere. And then they need a wheelchair, then they're mobile.
Monica Heredia is the Volunteer and Youth Development Manager at the Belize Red Cross. She explains the process of being included in the program.
They contact us, we set up an appointed date and time with each of the branches, and even here in Belize City, we ask that they not walk in so we can make sure that the assessors and technicians are in, and then they will do an assessment. It's a mobility assessment. They have to be able to sit up on their own. If they cannot sit up on their own, these are not the wheelchairs for them. And then they do a balance test and other assessments to see if they can and if this is the wheelchair for them.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Earlier this week, members of the Sugar Association of the Caribbean met virtually to discuss matters pertaining to sugar production in the region. Mac McLachlan, the director and country manager for Belize Sugar Industries Limited, was present in the meeting as a member of the board of directors. During the meeting, directors noted an increase in demand for regional brown sugar. Following a recent Caribbean Court of Justice ruling in a lawsuit brought by the government of Belize against the government of Trinidad and Tobago over an alleged breach of revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, the demand for brown sugar in the region has almost doubled.
The demand has always been there, I think, and the way the market is set up, it's split in two. There's a refined sugar and then there's brown sugar. CARICOM producers are more than capable of supplying the brown sugar needs for CARICOM, all of CARICOM. What has happened, because you had the split in the way things operate, a lot of countries would then ask for white sugar when there's a brown sugar need. But because of the monitoring or lack thereof, they would actually go ahead and bring in, brown sugar in some cases. And so that was what we were trying to prove, that the amount of brown sugar coming in, should not happen because we're protected under the Treaty of Chaguaramas. So this, with the statement made by the courts, what it has done is make that opportunity real. So, people are purchasing brown sugars, and we've seen incremental, almost doubling of sugar annually since we've had that ruling. And for the sugar producers, that is extremely good news. It excites us, and it means that there's incentive there for us to invest and to supply the market with quality brown sugar.
During the virtual meeting, directors acknowledged the continued increase in BSI's annual sugar production, which is projected at 126,000 tons for this crop season. Additionally, the association's board of directors appointed Mac McLachlan as chairman of the association for the remainder of 2022-2023 financial year and 2023 to 2024. We spoke with Communications Officer William Neal about what this appointment means for Belize and the association moving forward.
With Mac as the chairman of the Sugar Association, it's not about benefits so much directly to one country. It's how we can galvanize as an association to really make sure that what we're doing is charting a way forward that is best for everybody. Towards that end, we have created a work plan that ties in with CARICOM's desire to actually reduce the food import bill by 25% by 25%. What we see with sugar, Guyana is on a rebound and they're going up to 100,000. Barbados stays about the same, and we're not fully sure of the status of where Jamaica is, but it should be somewhere around 40. Cumulatively, we have more than enough sugar to supply the region. So with the work plan, what we can do, look at perhaps sourcing funds from the Green Climate Fund, because any agro producer will tell you that the challenges of climate change are real. So we have to work to mitigate those challenges. We've had floodings, for example, in Guyana consecutively that has really inundated the cane fields and affected their production. But we know in Belize at the same time, we're having, crops that are sandwiched between floods and then by droughts. So, we have to start looking at what we're doing as a region, and perhaps because of the size of our countries and the size of our industries individually, we have to do something that is more comprehensive, that would bring all four to benefit from some of the larger projects that the Green Climate Fund, for example, manages and affords to countries like Belize, Jamaica, Guyana, and Barbados.
When we return, Belize City Council hosting a night for mothers.
With eCash, bill payment is extremely convenient, and all utility companies accept eCash payments. What's even better? You get to split bills with your roommates, siblings, or whoever you desire. Simply open your eCash app, go to Bill Pay, tap the respective utility company, enter the information, and pay the bill. Then tap the transaction made. Tap Split the bill. Select Evenly. Send the request to who you are splitting the bill with, and get notified when they pay. Talk about making life easy and avoiding confusion. You can split the bill for restaurants, grocery stores, and for any eCash payment you make. To find your next yummy meal, hair treatment, or chill spot, simply open the app and utilize the geolocation service to see nearby businesses that accept eCash. Geolocation and bill payment make life a whole lot easier.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
This May, things are going to be amazing at Benny's. Find great gifts for moms such as Pyrex Bakeware, Chicago Cutlery Knife Sets, Corningware, Snapware, Corel Dinnerware, and much more at amazing prices. Also, check out our impressive line of Sankey appliances and other household items. Take advantage of these amazing deals and discounts all May long, only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Homeowners, immerse yourself in elegance. Surround yourself with the beauty and quality of solid wood furniture. This is what Merca's Elegant Furniture has to offer. Trendy, affordable, and exceptional furniture such as kitchen cabinets, doors, home bars, bar stools, vanities, plush sofa sets, all made in Belize with genuine mahogany wood. We also offer precious tropical hardwood dining sets, bedroom sets, coffee tables, office furniture, living room sets, and much more. Choose Merca's for all your fine furniture and save big. Or visit our Facebook page, Merca's Elegant Furniture, making your household dreams affordable.
At this time, at the Image Factory Gallery, the works of at least 60 artists of all ages and at different level of artistic skills are on display. Choose to Create Art exhibit is the product of the Kirkland Smith School of Visual Arts, which is returning after 4 years due to COVID-19 pandemic. It's an interesting space for creatives that began as an after-school program 2 decades ago. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Choose to Create. It's the name of the latest art exhibit being launched by the Kirkland Smith School of Visual Arts.
It is an amazing show. The last time we had an exhibition was 2019, so COVID put us on a pause. And this show, the participants are all over Belize and also international. I have students who have participated in the online program for the School of Visual Arts, all the way from St. Vincent. I had some in the US and others around, but these are works that are displayed by the youngest being 5 years old to the oldest over 40.
Kirkland Smith, an art instructor, says there is a variety of expressions on canvas, from drawings to paintings.
We will see a variety of expressions in terms of drawing and painting that the students have produced over the course of the school year. And these are beginners, amateurs, intermediate, advanced, and super advanced artists, right? And it is open to the public. The entrance is free at the Image Factory, and we launch at 7. And for our friends and families who are far and wide, who cannot attend in person, we go live on Instagram and also on Facebook. It's beginning at 6:45.
The Visual Arts School began over 2 decades ago and has evolved to engage not only students, but also adults at the intermediary and advanced levels.
This institution, it's non-profit, and it evolved through after-school art programs that I had. And this started 20 years ago when I first ventured into CXC and CSEC Visual Arts, preparing students to sit the exam at the end of 4th form. We expanded and we saw the need for art in our country, in our communities, and we create that space where people, students, children from primary school, adults, people who love art and want to explore and develop their skills can participate and function as an artist. And beside that, we realize that the schools need teachers who are competent and confident to teach art. And we also provide that space, that program where teachers can develop their artistic skills, pedagogy in teaching art and writing plans and lesson, construct course design for the visual arts or expressive arts.
Smith told News 5 that the theme for the exhibit is timely.
The narrative in our country at this time, where we're coming out of COVID, we're trying to reorient ourselves back into our normal lives, and we realize that the pace of living is faster than before. And at times we need to step back and think about the other important areas of life, beginning with our mental and emotional stability and health. So choosing to create is a celebration of these participants who decided, you know what, from our busy lives, we will take out time to think about ourselves and also to share our expressions and our feelings and thoughts with our community.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
On Saturday between 5 p.m. and 11 p.m., North Front Street from its junction with Victoria Street and Hydes Lane will be blocked off to vehicular traffic as a Night for Mom takes place. The area will be transformed into a marketplace with food and music. There will be booths featuring Belizean entrepreneurs as well as a kids zone. It is an event for the entire family, but a special treat for mothers. The initiative is the brainchild of the Belize City Council, which for some time has been organizing events that boost economic activity in areas across the city. Today, News 5 spoke with Public Relations Manager Erin Garnett for more details about the event.
It's a night marketplace. So for this event, we're going to be in Port George, and so we're going to be collaborating the Belize City Council and Honorable Helen Charles Usher along with the Port George Committee. And so we're going to be having giveaways for mom throughout the night, entertainment. You want to list the entertainment? Yes, we have TLC band, we have some jazz with Jackie Castillo and her jazz band, and we also have Alex Evans on steel pan.
Yeah, and people will be able to purchase things out there.
This is something for local vendors, for entrepreneurs, people who are trying to make an honest living. And so this will really just be a space where you can come, support local vendors, eat, drink, and get some live entertainment. And honestly, this is the place to find the perfect Mother's Day gift. If you haven't already, this is going to be 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. North Front Street. This is going to be directly in front of Victoria Alvarez Park. So we're going to be using from Victoria Street to Heights Lane. Our goal has really been to create recreational activities for family, things that are inclusive, things that have something for everyone, and things that are positive for us to do in the city, in Belize City. And we have so many residents, and we really want to focus on things that, you know, are positive, but also where we can support each other, and that's where our local small businesses come into play, right? And so this is just one of those things. This is something that we have been doing for a while. In addition to our super sale, we have been trying to get really creative in finding things and taking it to different communities so everyone has a chance to make some money.
The next event will be held in June in the Lake Independence area. Marie Sharp's Fine Food Limited has reached yet another mile marker. Marie Sharp's pepper sauces are now in the Caribbean. A statement from the company says that following a business expo in the Dominican Republic back in September 2022, and after months of negotiations, communication, permit applications, and logistics, Marie Sharp entered into a regional partnership. Marie Sharp's pepper sauces can now be found in major supermarkets across the Dominican Republic at a very good and competitive price. The company hails this latest achievement as another milestone for Belize. Up next, celebrating triplets on Mother's Day.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the Split the Bill button where he selects the Evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
Around the world, mothers will be celebrated on the second Sunday of May. If you ask a mom what was the hardest part of the journey through motherhood, the answers may vary. Some might say the initial stage, adjusting to the idea of having a newborn under your care. Others might say the terrible twos when babies find their legs and curiosity spikes. But there are very few mothers that have extraordinary experiences of giving birth to multiple babies at once. What's the experience like before and after? Sabrina Daly found out in this week's Look on the Bright Side.
On the Bright Side is brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
It was so crazy. The radiologist was like, oh my God, it's 3. And then the dad wanted to faint. It was so hectic.
You would have think that in an AC room, you don't sweat. But my gosh, I like if I'm in a sauna.
You're looking at a wall of empty Enfamil containers that fed the new additions to the Alberto Murillo family. But wait, that's also with breast milk. Because 3 months ago, Jennifer Alberto became a new mom to not 1, not 2, but 3 babies.
At the beginning, the morning sickness was horrible. But after that came the cravings, which was, I was like, yay, I can eat whatever I want. And then time went by and my belly got super huge. I remember sometimes I would sit down and my belly would reach almost to my knees. But it was really big. If I wore a dress before pregnancy, during the pregnancy it would fit me like basically almost like a crop top. Yeah, so the belly was really big.
The belly is now gone and is replaced with 3 infants to take care of. So, what does a day in the life of a mom with newborn triplets look like?
Well, every day is different. Every day is a different baby having a tantrum. But usually in the mornings, I would feed them, breastfeed them. Well, 2 of them, and then the one that's like less fussy and still sleeping, then I would give him a bottle. But then after that, when they eat, then they usually go back to sleep.
The less fussy one is Ryan. In fact, while mom and dad were busy feeding his impatient brothers, he casually lay on the side waiting for his turn, and even smiled proudly at his parents working as a team to attend to their newfound jobs.
In the beginning, when one would cry, then one would wake up the other 2. So then 3 of them would be crying, but as the days went by, we learned how to like deal with them. Like, for example, we would put them on a pillow and then just have the 3 bottles ready so that when they're ready to cry, just give them and then they eat and then they just go to sleep after or change their diaper and what's not.
These days, the ringleader for crying is usually Davian. His brother Nathan provides moral support with some added fussing too. But their grandmother, Myrna, lends a helping hand to lighten the load.
I come every Sunday, Tuesday, my dear, sometimes in the night. When I tell like Sunday, me happy. 3 of them know me. When come, oh, happy.
Raising triplets would require the premium package if there was a manual for motherhood. It requires energy and a whole lot of patience. Brenda Kidd knows this feeling. Her first kid was 1 year old when she learned that 3 more kids were on the way.
It was devastating, if I can say that. I mean, because I had, this was in Jamaica. I had the ultrasound at BJ had just turned 1 year. And when I went to the doctor and the doctor examined me and said 1 and then 2, and I held his hand. I said, Doc, please don't find any more.
No more.
But he called the nurse and he said, nurse, come here. Isn't this another one? And I was like, no, no. But that was it.
Suddenly, a family of 3 turned into a family of 6. But the set of triplets, 2 girls and a boy, changed kids' outlook.
At first, it was, all I could see was the work. Oh, this is so much work. I'm so tired. And one day I remember going out, and when I came home, all 3 ran to me, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. And one brought my slippers and one brought some water and so on. And it was like the Lord said to me, you only think of the work, what about the love? It's 3 times the love too, huh? Okay, and so after that I was able to accept it and go. And this was one day they had Mommy on the floor. We had to be playing. So this was one of the times that you really felt the love, you know, and could appreciate that.
3 times the love.
3 times the love.
And like Kid, Jennifer also experiences this multiplied love.
I want to be able to raise them humbly, to the best of my ability, ensure that they have proper education, everything that they possibly need, but obviously try to spoil them then and there. But just basically raise them happy boys, respectful, humble.
I always take the verse of scripture that says children are a gift from the Lord. And if you take your children as a gift and cherish them like how you would cherish any gift, you know, then that is doing something that is pleasing to God. And you should see them come up growing, loving you, loving people, loving God most of all.
Ryan, Davian, and Letia.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
On the Bright Side was brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
From now on, when you visit Uno, you will experience an A+ power in all fuels. Dynamax has evolved into Dynamax Plus. The new formula with the ultimate technology and additives provides an A+ power and A+ performance. Dynamax Plus, available in diesel, regular and premium. Try it today and reach further. Uno, a different energy.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Annalyn Apollonia. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, have a happy and safe weekend. Good night.